Connor Bedard has a secret addiction, and that's not the only thing you didn't know about him, like his $1 million scandal or the time he almost burned down his house. And we gotta start with the time Bedard was cursed by Drake. Yeah, it all started before Bedard made his preseason debut, when Drake posted Connor on his IG. And at first, everyone was hyped for Connor, until they realized what this meant. See, every time Drake posts a pic with an athlete, they go on to have the worst performances of their careers. And it has happened so many times, players started purposely avoiding Drake before big games. So naturally, after seeing the post, reporters wanted to know what Bedard thought of the curse.
I need to know if you've heard of the Drake curse. When he posts a photo with an athlete, things don't typically go super well for that athlete.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that. I just thought it was, when he went to a game. Yeah, I'm pretty superstitious, but, if Drake, I'm not just gonna reject Drake from a photo, maybe try to break the curse.
Although Bedard said he'd break the curse, when he stepped on the NHL ice for the first time, something was wrong. Even though Connor was getting tons of chances, he just couldn't find the back of the net. He played the worst 4 games of his career, scoring just 1 empty netter in his last preseason game. Yeah, you can see how pissed he was. But even Drake's curse couldn't stop other NHL stars from glazing him. See, Bedard is the most hyped NHL prospect of all time. Last year, you couldn't even open your phone without seeing him do something like this.
Bedard to bring him up for Regina. 1-on-2, step by the defenseman to the net. The deke, and he scores! Oh my!
This guy was so good. He had McDavid and McKinnon already ranking his shot #1 in the world before even stepping a foot into the NHL.
It's remarkable to see. He shoots it so hard and in such quick release. He's one of the best in the world now at 17.
Getting compliments like those from the 2 best players in the league. Man, luckily Draisaitl was there to bring Connor down to earth.
Dude, hurry up. There's other people that want to go too. Hey?
Oh, my bad. Hey, did you do the stick handling one yet?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Don't worry about it. Thank you so much. What'd you get? 64? 64?
Yeah.
I got 108.
Dude,
Yeah. No, you didn't? Yeah, I did. But he said I was middle of the pack.
well, it was a different one, man.
No.
Yeah, it was. No, it's not.
Anyway, that release really is crazy. But Bedard's shot is so good, only because he got into an accident. See, ever since being a kid, Connor had just one goal in mind: to be the best hockey player in the world. He loved training more than anything and spent over 3 hours every day just shooting pucks in the driveway. Connor's shot developed way quicker than his dad could ever have expected. So one day while shooting, Connor overshot a puck, completely shattering the living room window. His mom was pissed, but his dad knew they shouldn't stop Connor from practicing. So he decided to build Connor his own place to train in the backyard, just so he didn't have to be scared to break anything anymore, and could train in peace. And train he did. All the time Bedard had, he spent outside shooting pucks, until something happened that changed the course of his whole life. It was a normal day in snowy Vancouver. Bedard was playing a local team in a game that seemed like any other. He was dominating the ice, until suddenly
Got hit, kind of awkwardly hit my wrist into the boards and, broke it.
It was way more serious than we had at first thought anyway, because it was near the growth plate, and if you worked it too hard or hit it again or something, it could affect the growth of your arm.
Bedard's wrist was completely broken. The doctors told him he couldn't use his hand at all for 3 months. But even that wasn't enough to stop him from training.
I played hockey every day basically, so I was just kind of keeping that routine, and I just had, one hand on my stick, top hand, and, stick hand with one hand, and trying to shoot on your backhand, I guess. I think I was starting to be able to raise the puck a bit when, you shoot on one hand. I think it made it a little stronger.
Training with only his top hand improved the strength of the arm so dramatically. When he finally got his cast off, he magically started launching rockets like these.
1-on-2, shot, score! To Bedard, high slot, wrist shot, scores!
With that goal-scoring ability, it shouldn't be a surprise Bedard got drafted #1. And even though after getting drafted, Bedard's life seems perfect, there's still one thing that haunts him. See, moving away from his parents wasn't as easy as Connor thought. Because this guy cannot cook to save his life.
Yeah, I'm not great. I can make breakfast, but that's probably about it. My mom spoils me a bit with that. Does a lot of the cooking for me, but...
So after saying that before the season, of course the media wouldn't leave him alone about it. Instead, they were constantly asking Connor if he'd been practicing his cooking. And let's be real, he definitely wasn't. but still tried to pull off the LeBron special and lie to the media.
Going home trying to, cook or whatever and figure that out. But
how's the cooking going? Because you said your mom was instrumental. How are you doing it solo or?
yeah, I just kind of FaceTime her, put her on the counter, and she tells me what to do. So
What are you cooking? What's she gonna cook?
just whatever. Like, I haven't cooked that much. It was just kind of something to say here. But
It was all fun and games until it came clear that Bedard's cooking skills might actually get him killed.
What was the biggest, issue you came across in the kitchen where you had to call your mom?
I feel like I left the oven on overnight a couple times and stuff like that. So,
Wait. What do you mean a couple times? Someone tell this guy to hire a chef already. He has his hands full doing these crazy-ass tape jobs. Yeah, Bedard has the weirdest superstitions with his stick out of any NHL player I've ever seen. It all started when right before his NHL debut, he seems to forget his stick.
Wait a second. What's going on? I forgot something. What did you forget? No. Oh, the stick.
No one thought much of it until one reporter realized something wasn't adding up. Bedard had clearly left his stick outside before going into the locker room. You can see him looking for it before running to get a new one. Again, after the second period, cameras picked up Connor placing his stick in the same place blade up. And in a clip from preseason, Connor can once again be seen picking up his blade up place stick from the same place before going onto the ice. Bedard clearly didn't forget his stick. Instead, the equipment manager thought someone had forgot their stick and took it away. See, Bedard has a weird superstition and doesn't want anyone touching his stick.
I don't like my blade ever touching the ground or people touching my stick or anything. So I kind of, in our stick rack, I put my stick all the way at the end and hang it the wrong way up so no one can touch it. Everyone kind of knows to leave it alone.
I mean, just look how mad he got after McKinnon tried touching his wood.
Any worries because he got his hands on one of your sticks that he might have a little edge now that he didn't before?
I need to touch his stick. Yeah, that sounds a little weird, but
Mans already knew he was getting clipped for that. But not letting anyone touch his stick ain't even his weirdest ritual, because this guy has the most ridiculous tape jobs I've seen.
so I'll do circles or triangles on my stick. It's pretty funny. I always switch it. So last game I had triangle up top, circle in the middle, triangle on the bottom. It covers the whole blade, and then on the back I did circle on the top, triangle middle, circle bottom.
I mean, clearly it works. But listen, now that we're getting into the top 5 stories of Bedard's life, let's take things to a whole new level, like how Connor is secretly cheating during NHL games. It all started before the 2022 World Juniors, when instead of the regular cage, Bedard decided to wear the bubble. And while wearing the bubble, Connor was unstoppable.
Bedard in, shoots, goal!
So next year, after getting chosen to the roster once again, Bedard suspiciously decided to bring the bubble back, and man, he went off.
Mark was wide open, but
Bedard won the tournament MVP, putting up 23 points in 7 games, breaking the Canadian all-time scoring record by 5. But just a few months later, before his NHL debut, Bedard finally turned 18 and moved on from the bubble for the final time. And I mean, he was playing all right without the fishbowl, but was nowhere near his former self. Until Bedard broke his jaw and was sidelined for 6 weeks. But Connor wasn't worried, because after those 6 weeks, he got to bring back his secret weapon. And right after getting the bubble back, out of nowhere he started dominating the NHL. First, he had a 3-point game against Arizona, followed up with a 5-point game just a day later. But the weirdness didn't stop there. In the 24 games Bedard wore the bubble, he averaged 1.38 points per game. Without the fishbowl, he was averaging just 0.85 points. Clearly the bubble is giving him superpowers. But that ain't the only way the bubble helps Bedard cheat, because wearing it during NHL games gives him another unfair advantage. It keeps him safe from Kane.
He's good. He's a great player, very creative. Got a little physical on me in the corner there, so he's lucky he had the bubble on or I was going after him. We're gonna try.
Bedard surely hopes Kane's ass whooping would be the only thing he has to worry about, because recently fans have been losing millions because of him. See, the card manufacturer Upper Deck releases their one-of-one rookie cards for every future NHL star. And being the most hyped prospect of all time, fans believe Bedard's card could someday even exceed Gretzky's rookie card, sold for over $3.5 million. That's why after last season, when Upper Deck informed fans they would be releasing their brand new collection, including Bedard's rookie card, everyone was hyped. Right after, Dave and Adams promised $1 million bounty to whoever finds the card. But then things started turning fishy. Even though the series has been out for months already, there's still no sight of the card. So naturally, fans started getting suspicious and started accusing Upper Deck for not even releasing the card yet. See, just because of Bedard's rookie card, Upper Deck has already sold a record-breaking amount of boxes. The chances of the card not being pulled yet are getting close to impossible, as fans have already lost millions of dollars trying to pack the card. But that ain't the only shocking thing about Bedard. Cause low-key, he's the smartest player in the NHL. See, being a kid, the only thing Connor wanted was to be the best hockey player alive. So he did some digging and tried to find ways to get ahead of his competition. That's when he stumbled across a secret weapon NHL players were using to gain advantage: nutrition. While some players couldn't care less about what they put in their mouths. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Phil. Bedard found out that other NHL stars had completely transformed their games by changing their diets. So from that point on, 9-year-old Connor started eating as healthy as possible. And in an interview before the draft, Bedard's mom told that Connor has never eaten any kind of fast food or even stepped a foot in a McDonald's. That's wild. But not every Bedard story has a happy ending. Because when Connor was just 15 years old, he went through something heartbreaking. See, growing up, Connor idolized one man over everybody: his grandpa. When Connor was little, spending time with his grandpa was what he loved the most. They spent countless of hours playing mini sticks and cards at the house. Grandpa was the only person Connor would talk to after a bad game. Grandpa Garth was Connor's mentor. He made Connor the man he is today. But then out of nowhere, something happened. Connor was away from home playing in a bubble, isolated from the outside world because of the pandemic, when he got a call from his parents. Something terrible had happened. While driving to work in the morning, his grandpa had got into a fatal car accident. Connor was devastated. His parents tried to get him to leave the bubble and fly back home to process the trauma. At the end of the day, he was only 15 years old and alone. But Connor insisted on staying and playing the next game for Grandpa.
A lot of emotion this week for him and the Bedard family, and
Connor has said that too, that was kind of the hardest game he played, but also the one that meant the most to him.
Bedard cuts to his right, shoots and scores! Connor Bedard breaks the deadlock. It's back to Bedard in the slot. Snapshot, scores! Connor Bedard in his final game of the season wins it in overtime on a night that I'm sure has been incredibly emotional for him.
Connor buried 2 goals to honor his grandpa. And that night, Bedard found something new inside of him. Something new that eventually led to him developing an addiction. Yeah, all this time, Connor has had a secret addiction no one else knew about. Because it turns out Bedard is severely addicted to stuffing the back of nets with pucks. Yeah, my man is really addicted to scoring goals. That explains why he would spend so much time shooting pucks even after practices. But Bedard's story is just one of many in the NHL. Because Patrick Kane has something weird going on with his teeth. And it's not even the weirdest thing in this video. So what you waiting for? Just go ahead and click it.